Hello and welcome to the Planet Knit podcast. I'm your host Sarah, also known as Silvani on Ravelry and Silvani underscore knits on Instagram. Today is Sunday, January 10th, 2016, and it's been about a week and a half since I recorded. Bits happened in that time. It's now 2016. I hope your year is starting out right. I hope your resolutions, if you made any, are going well, and if you didn't, I hope that you're just having a grand old time and you're happy with where your life is at. I've been knitting a lot the past week. I had a few days off. One of them was the day I recorded. Then I also had Friday off. On Saturday, I went up to my parents and stayed there through Sunday. And then I've been at work since then. But I've been knitting a lot, so let me show you what I've been working on. My current work in progress that I've been focusing on is called Huron. It's a sweater by Jared Blood, and I'm actually pretty far on it. I finished the main body. So this is on just like my cable needle for my interchangeables. I've got one end that's got like the needle stopper, and then the other end I couldn't find my other needle stopper, so I got just like a bigger size needle. But it's better make sure no stitches fall off. It's a pretty big man sweater. This is for my dad for his birthday. Don't think he watches this podcast, so I don't think I'm running any surprises. Then I've also started the sleeve. So this is really good movie knitting or just sitting around knitting. It's all stockinette. There will be a colorwork yoke. This is a bottom up yoke sweater. So basically you knit the body and then you knit the sleeve and the other sleeve and then you put them all on the needle and go around for the yoke. So that's how that works, and I'm looking forward to getting to the not stockinette part of this sweater. The colorwork's in stockinette, but at least it's a little more interesting than just all knit stitches. But it goes fast, so I can't really complain too much. For finished objects, I've mostly been working on the sweater, so I don't really have anything too significant. But I think that last time I mentioned that I've been playing in the Harry Potter Knit and Crochet House Cup, and they have like little quick side mission things. One thing is Quidditch, and you can like score goals for things. And for round 1 of Quidditch, what you could score goals for is making something that looks like a bandage, or making or like mending something. So I did. There were some other options, but like frogging. But I don't have anything I want to frog, so I didn't do that. I made a hexapuff and said it was like a bandage or a compress. I have made a lot of hexapuffs lately. I actually forgot to mention that on the last podcast, but I made what I was doing in December was like Advent hexapuffs. I don't really do anything Adventy other than just like, oh, it's December, it's the end of the year, let's just do one of this for every day leading up to Christmas. And so I actually have a lot of hexapuffs, and maybe sometime I'll just bring them out and just go through them. Maybe I'll just have like an entire like side episode where I just show off my hexapuffs, because I have a lot that haven't been joined to the main quilt, and I should probably join them soon, because I'm getting I have a bucket that's the bottom is covered and it's like starting to come up farther in the bucket. It's a big bucket too, so I guess we'll see. We'll see if I decide to do that, because I think I have quite a few hexapuffs. And I didn't knit all of them. Like some of my friends sent me some. So, but I knit a lot of them. So that's something that I've kind of been doing in my, spare time. Break it up a little bit, and make it not so, I don't know, monogamous with my whips. Sometimes, when you're working along on a whip, it's like, oh, this never end. And, the Huron sweater, I didn't realize how much I had actually done in the past week and a half until I was just getting ready to record the podcast, and I was like, oh, well, I must have finished the body by last week of Huron. Like, I hadn't even cast it on. I hadn't even cast on Huron last week, so I was like, I've done all of that since like last Thursday. So that was kind of a good feeling. But sometimes when you're chugging along, you don't really think about that as much. It's just like you grow so slowly that then all of a sudden it's huge and you're just like, oh well, whatever. But yeah, so I finished a hexapuff. I also mended a sock, and basically I just reknit the entire sole. And I don't know if you can tell, but I switched yarns. I think, yep, you can tell. There you are. So the switch is right here. Basically, I just unraveled the entire, sole, because the way the sock is constructed, you knit all these squares, and then you pick up off of them and do stuff. So basically, I cut off the old toe, which had already been mended once, and unraveled all the crap, and then reknit it. So I have one more that has to do it, that I have to do that to. Grab it. There are holes like this big, and then there's like threadbare spots. So lesson learned, I will not be using 100% merino for socks anymore. So there's that. So that's kind of what I have that I could really call finished. Couple things in the needle adjacent projects world. I don't really have any UFOs I've been working on, so I'll just skip to my naps. My needle adjacent projects right now, I've kind of been doing some scheming for the Harry Potter Knit and Crochet House Cup, the classes, and some of the other stuff. I think last week I showed some swatches off for my owl. I'm doing 3 colorwork socks from the Off Art Socks book for that. So that's all planned. That proposal's been accepted. So yay! I also proposed an order mission, Order of the Phoenix, and that I proposed to be the Nightingale socks. There's also, I think, another group that's doing a Nightingale knit along. There's a lot going on with the Nightingale socks, and I kind of saw people doing it, and I was like, you know what? I've been wanting to knit those forever. I should just do it. So I picked out yarn for that. The Order of the Phoenix doesn't require swatching or really even specifying what yarn you use, so I thought it would be good for the Nightingale socks since I'm not sure really how I'm going to get them to fit my feet. I have to do some scheming there. Another thing that I was kind of scheming about doing was I have all these like sample fibers somebody sent me as a prize for a spin along. And this is like, it's faux cashmere, which is nylon. It's, I've got wool seacell. I've got, this is corn silk. Kind of see they're different texture-y things. And then I've also got, this is Vicose, which is, I think, a byproduct of cotton. You can see it's shiny. So I was thinking about spinning those as like for different classes because honestly all of these fibers and fiber blends are new to me. Like it would be the first time I would be spinning them, and they're small amounts, so I think it would be like manageable to do multiple of them for a class. So that's kind of what's been going on there. A lot of stockinette and a lot of planning, but not anything super duper interesting. Did I say? I don't think I said what yarn I was using for Huron. I should probably tell you that. I'm using Knit Picks Swish, which is 100% merino. It's not the softest yarn ever, and it's not like, it's pretty soft for like a Knit Picks wool, and it's pretty inexpensive, so I'm using it because I'm cheap. And well, more than just I'm cheap, it's like a man sweater quantity, and if you start getting pricier yarn, it starts to be like a $200 sweater. And I'm not sure, like my dad already, I knit him a sweater out of Red Heart Super Saver, and he won't wear it except on like special occasions. So I'm like, that stuff is like bulletproof, right, Dad? Like, just wear the sweater. So I was gonna knit him a slightly nicer one and like work my way up so that maybe if he has more sweaters, he'll use them more. Otherwise, I hate to spend like more than $150 on a sweater quantity that he's going to wear like 3 times a year. So there's that. But Oh, I guess I was going to have a product spotlight. This isn't super knitting related. It's geek related. And one thing that I bought with my Christmas money was the handbag of holding from Nick or from ThinkGeek. I don't usually buy stuff from ThinkGeek. I don't know, there was a knitting related fiasco with ThinkGeek like a while ago. They got rights to sell the Jane hat from Firefly, and then Fox, because they were making money off the Jane hat, started really cracking down on knitters who had been selling the Jane hat and selling Jane hat patterns for years and years and years. And I don't think that there was ever any successful court action, because basically if you want to protect your rights, and this is why the Olympic community is such sticklers about using Olympics for things, using the phrase the Olympics, or anything, Olympic anything. The reason they're such sticklers is that if you let it slide once for like a good cause, you basically lose your right to defend it, because you are, picking and choosing which people get to violate your rights to the phrase. So I don't think that ThinkGeek never went after anybody, but Fox did, and Fox sent cease and desist letters to a lot of knitters, and a lot of knitters were like, oh, well, they have lawyers and money, so I'm not going to piss them off. I think if a bunch of knitters had gotten together and really fought that, and maybe they did and I just wasn't paying attention, if they had fought that, they would have won, because Fox hadn't protected that right to that trademark for like a long time, years and years and years, and then Firefly got popular as like a cult classic, like, oh, it was canceled so much before it should have been, but nobody was watching it when it was on TV. Years later, it gets popular and everybody tries to start cashing in on it, but they didn't care before, so they wouldn't have won that case. Fox wouldn't have won it, but who has enough money to like fight Fox on a legal thing, especially people who are selling hat kits? So basically, if you want a Jane hat, you either have to knit your own or buy one from ThinkGeek, which kind of pissed me off, but that people can't sell them anymore. But especially since it's just because nobody could pursue legal action because of money issues. But anyway, so I don't buy from ThinkGeek a whole lot. They're kind of like, I like them as a company, but I don't like some of the things they've been involved in, if that makes sense. But they've got a handbag of holding, and I've wanted one for a really long time, so I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy it. It's on sale, and it's this big. I'm kind of small, so like I'm 5'2" and kind of just overall tiny. So the bag's, a couple, maybe not even a couple feet, like 1.5 feet wide, and it's got like a bajillion pockets. It's got, handles and a strap. It's got a lot of room for stuff. And basically, I've just been living out of this bag for the past week and a half or so. I basically took it to my parents, and I packed like all my medicine and my my pajamas and like all my toiletries and all my knitting. Like, I packed like 3 knitting projects in this bag, like including the sweater. Like, I've been knitting here on out of this bag, so it's got a lot of room in it. And then last night I packed like the Op Art Socks book. It's big enough for a book. It's probably big enough for a small laptop. So it's got a lot of space. So if you're looking for just like an all-purpose bag or a knitting bag, it might be a good call. I got the nice one, but not like the executive one. But this one's like, it's faux leather. It's not real leather. It's like vegan leather. But it feels nice. It looks nice. And so far it's been super high quality. Like, I haven't had any issues with anything being, like when you can tell something's cheap. I don't know if there's a good word for that, but there's nothing like that. There's no Velcro, which is a big thing for me because I knit and Velcro catches on yarn, and I'm just like, don't put Velcro on things. And the zipper is like fine enough that it also doesn't catch on my knitting. Sometimes, like on knitting bags, they put or purses, they put like really thick, clunky metal zippers, and they catch my yarn, and I'm just like, stop. So there's none of that with this bag. This bag's good. I like this bag. So that's kind of like my product spotlight. Again, I don't really ever get anything for, I don't get anything for saying this. I just say it in case it's helpful to you, that I am, see what products I'm using and what I'm liking and what I'm not liking. So that's that. Let's see, what else do I want to talk about? I guess in mission control administrative stuff, I don't really have a whole lot. I was kind of thinking about doing the knit along. I don't have any like super groundbreaking ideas. Some of the stuff I'm working on, I'm dubious that anybody else would really want to work on. Like the Nightingale socks is kind of a commitment. So I don't really have any ideas. But if you have any ideas, tell me and I will consider that. And probably go with it, because if you guys want to do a knit along, like, I would love to do knit alongs, but I just don't have any ideas that I think anybody else would like. For a recording schedule, I was kind of hoping to do it weekly, but I don't know how feasible that's going to be. It sounds like everybody I've talked to who watches the podcast, like, has just been catching up now. It's been like a week and a half, so I'm thinking if I recorded every 2 weeks or so, or maybe even like once a month or slightly more than once a month, I don't think that people would like miss the extra podcast necessarily. So I guess we'll see like how much I really want to talk about and how much I really have to talk about. This week I think is going to be a pretty short podcast, because I thought I had a lot more to talk about than I do, because it's only been a week and a half and I've been doing like all on the same thing, and not finishing anything. So I guess that's kind of my idea for a recording schedule. If there's like huge objections to that and you're like, no, you have to record every 3 days, otherwise I'm going to die of boredom, then tell me, and I probably won't record that often. But I'm just I'm just saying, if you have objections to me recording like every other week instead, just shout it out, because whatever. I'm flexible. I just don't want to bore the crap out of everybody. So in life stuff, last week on Saturday, I figured out that my Nook was broken. Like, my Nook, it's like a ebook reader. I like my Nook personally because it is like, I have the Nook Glow Light, which is like a paper textured, it's not backlit like tablets. It's not a tablet. And I like that because I work in a desk job where there are, computers, and I stare at a computer basically for 9 hours a day. And then I come home, and if I want to do anything on my personal, like, internet life, which I do, I stare at a computer some more. And basically, my eyes get tired. My eyes get super tired, and I don't like to read on a backlit screen because of that. And the only company that has, like, Amazon discontinued their Paperwhite, so the only company that even supports a Paperwhite option is, or like a paper colored option, is the Nook Glow Light. And mine broke. So I got on the phone with the customer support people, and I was like, this is what's wrong. And he was like, well, you can wait for the battery to die. And I was like, so what do I do in the next 3 months? Because it takes like 3 months for the battery to die, and I don't want to wait that long. And basically he was like, oh, well, you could take it to a store and see what they have to say. So I took it in my local Barnes & Noble, and the girl was like, well, I don't know what to tell you because you already troubleshot it, so call customer support and see if they'll replace it. So I did that, and they did, which I was surprised, because I think it was like a couple days after my warranty expired. And I was like, well, yeah, that's how warranties work, because, as I'm an engineer and I design things, and people basically come to me and say, this is what I want the product to do, and I want it to last this long. And then you design it so it lasts that long, and you don't design it so it lasts longer than that. So generally, if something has a 1-year warranty, the vast majority of products will last a year. A lot of them will last longer, and some of them will break before that and need to be replaced on warranty. But basically, the person who is specifying it determines how many they want to break before the warranty, like how much they want to spend in warranty dollars. And like how many they want to not. And sometimes to meet the performance requirements in other areas, you have a product, like the product that I design is something that has a 1-year warranty or a 2-year warranty, but actually lasts like 15 or 20 years usually, just because of other performance requirements and what the failure mode would be. It's not a, like, it's not something where we like design it to break. It's just that we don't design it to not break after the warranty life. So I was like, well, of course it broke. It's been a year and it has a 1-year warranty, so duh, And the guy was like, well, your warranty only expired like 5 days ago. Let me see if I can extend it. And he could, so he just sent me a new one. And I was like, okay, I'll take that. I mean, the Nook globe light is not so expensive that I wouldn't have just like gone and bought a different one. But if he's gonna replace it for free, I'm taking that. So I got a new Nook. It's a certified pre-used one or pre-owned one, and I've just been like reading The Color of Magic by Terry Pratchett because everybody says I need to read that. So I have been, and it's okay. It's not really my cup of tea, but maybe it'll grow on me. Some other things have. So that's kind of one thing that I've been doing life-wise. Another thing that I was going to talk about is I went to a movie on Friday, which I almost never do. The movie I went to is Hateful Eight. It's a Quentin Tarantino movie. If you don't like Quentin Tarantino, or if you don't know who he is and you don't know what he does, you probably should not go see this movie because it is a very Quentin Tarantino movie. And that means it's pretty gory and pretty intense, and it's like an adult-only movie. Like, you better be a grown-up if you're going to watch this, or under grown-up supervision. I don't even know if I would go that far. But my fiance is laughing at my description of this movie. Are you familiar with the movie Inglourious Basterds? It's kind of like that, except not. It's just super gory, and I was pleasantly surprised at how not gory it was. I expected it to be gorier, so I'll put it that way. Like, it's a Tarantino film. It's cinematically really nice to watch. Like, it's pretty, but like, it's pretty explicit, and there's definitely some scenes that would have bothered me if I had watched it when I was 17. Put it that way. So yeah, like, it was a good movie. I would recommend it to Tarantino lovers. But if you're not, and if you're like, who's that? And just go look at what he does and then decide if you want to try a different Tarantino movie, like Pulp Fiction or something, and then if you like that, then maybe keep watching Tarantino movies and see if there's a limit, because I don't want to just be like, oh, it was great, go see it, without any disclaimers, because when I was a freshman in college, people said that to me, and I took my mom to go see a movie that was not a movie that I really would have chosen to see with my mom. Fortunately, my mom was pretty cool about it, but I was not. I wasn't expecting what I got. So you've been warned. It's a Tarantino film. If you know what that means and you like that, go see it because it's great. I thought it was better than Django, but yeah, I thought it was really good. So if you like that kind of thing, go see it. If you don't, then don't. I think that some people are like, when I said I went to see a movie on Friday, to my other friends, a lot of people said like, oh, Star Wars? Did you go see Star Wars? I'm just like, no. Nope, I have not seen Star Wars. I have been sufficiently spoiled for Star Wars, and I am going to see it someday, but maybe not while it's in theaters. I'm not a Star Wars fan. I know this is like a space-themed podcast, but I'm not going to talk about Star Wars because I'm a Trekkie, and I'm an actual space fan. I have a picture of the Trifid Nebula on my wall. I'm not like into space fantasy, but I did watch Star Wars 4. I'm planning on watching Star Wars 5 and 6, and then watching 7 at some point, but it's not like a priority item. I'll put it that way. It's not like I have to hurry up and see this. I'm just like, yep. So anyway, I know this is kind of a short podcast, but there's not that much going on. Just Stockinette Huron. So I hope you are having a good weekend. I hope that your week starts out great next week. I hope that your preferred sports team wins, unless you cheer for the Redskins, in which I hope that you guys really lose and that we advance because I'm a Packers fan. I'm going to go watch the rest of the Vikings Seahawks game, and then I'm going to watch the Packers game, and I'm going to knit during them. I will see you later. Bye.